Everybody, my growth everyone back here for FSI DFS. Could be breaking down. We have a nice little 6-game slate for Monday, May 2nd, and it starts at 6:40, so it's a little bit earlier. It's not 7:05 start, so just be sure you're ready for that. Saturday's video went really well. A lot of people reached out to me, and we did win some good money there. Recommended a punt catcher, and most of the people picked the Cincinnati guy who was just 2K, and he had a home run, and always love it when that happens. Pitching stacks came together. It was great. So let's try to do it again today. So in this 6-game slate, we've got some decent pitching options. No weather really to worry about. So let's just get into it. So first game, you have Zach Gallen and Pablo Lopez. You have the Diamondbacks and the Marlins. I think both pitchers are really good options here. Gallen's had a good start to the season. The Marlins are striking out. Jazz might be out of the lineup potentially. So I mean, there's like one of their best bats leading off, not there. So we'll have to watch for that. And Pablo Lopez has just been cruising to start the season also in Arizona, even though that they can have some power at times. Overall, isn't a great team. And I think Lopez is just such a talented young pitcher. It's in a pitching ballpark. I think both of them, it's only got a 6.5 total, 2.8 for 7 for the Diamondbacks, and 3.63 for the Marlins. I think there's great options there, even maybe stacking pitchers there. You lose the win for one of them, but you know, it's definitely a viable option. Not really looking at any of the bats here. I know Arizona makes a cheap stack. And the Marlins as a leverage stack against Gallen, but I just think, you know, there's even a small slate here. There's so many other options to go with. Next game, we have the Minnesota Twins and the Baltimore Orioles. We have Chris Paddack and Tyler Wells. Paddack is finally starting to come around a little bit. He's really not getting a lot of strikeouts, but he's not walking batters. He's not giving up runs. So he's good, efficient pitchers. And I think the Baltimore Orioles could probably just inflate his strikeout stats because they are pretty much a not disciplined at the plate team and swing pretty freely. Tyler Wells on the other side, really not interested in him. He might pitch 70, 80 pitches. This Minnesota lineup, especially with Buxton back and getting healthier, not one that I really want to look at in the slate, even though he's cheap. I just don't think you really need to go down there in the context of it. So bat wise, Minnesota, I think is my favorite GPP stack against Wells. There's some other blue blood stacks that I think, you know, I'd take first, but definitely like Minnesota here. I know some of them have struggled to start the season, like Correa hasn't had a huge hot start. Kepler is boom or bust, like he either has a 20-point game or a 0. But I think, you know, that's why I think they're more GPP, because I don't really see the consistency here, but I think they're one of my favorite GPP stacks. Baltimore, a cheap stack. If you need some one-offs there to fill in, if you're not playing Paddack, then I'm fine with that. The other thing too, it's Baltimore bullpen isn't the greatest either, has one of the highest ERAs. So I think, you know, once they get the 70 pitches or whatever Wells, then they could just like light up the bullpen after that. Yankees at Blue Jays, you have Jordan Montgomery and Ross Stripling. Montgomery's a decent pitcher, but again, like I think he only gets like maybe 75, 80 pitches, doesn't seem to go too deep into games, doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. Blue Jays have a pretty much right-handed lineup, but Montgomery doesn't tend to get blown up either. So Stripling on their side, it's not a great pitcher, and Toronto's got a good bullpen, so I don't think that really matters. But I think the Yankees would be my favorite stack on the slate. I think this could be a higher scoring game here, and like Judge is in really good form. A lot of these guys are doing well. A little bit expensive. It's hard to get like a full stack in there if you want to pay up for like Lopez a pitcher, but we'll look at that in the breakdown section at the end of the video. Toronto on the other side, I think it would be my second favorite stack there. Again, you have a ton of righties with power going against Jordan. We got a left-hander, like I said, doesn't give up a ton of like home runs and a ton of runs, but then again, you still have like a very, very potent offense here. And maybe if he has an off day or whatever, or they, you know, get some runners on base, they can manufacture some runs pretty quickly there. Next up, we have the Atlanta Braves at the New York Mets. You have another really decent pitching matchup here too. You have Max Fried against Chris Bassett. I don't really see a total on this game yet as I record this video, but I think both pitchers are really good. If I had to pick, I would lean Bassett over, and I see a lot of people in the industry are more interested in Bassett than Fried, but I think both of them you definitely are playable here. I definitely prefer Lopez over them, or paying down for like Gallen, but I think, you know, if you want to differentiate your lineups a little bit, they're both solid options here. It is in City Field, which is a pitcher's ballpark. We do have wind blowing in at about 10 miles per hour, and it's only going to be like 54 degrees, so it's not the ideal hitting environment. But both these lineups are decent too. And I think if you're playing here, like you put them in a GPP things, they would definitely maybe be even more leverage stacks of GPP stacks. And I think you're looking at more like one-offs with the correct split. So looking at like Ozuna or Albies, or I am playing Detamir everywhere. He's 2K. This guy has been in 8 games. He's had hits in 7 out of 8 of them. He's already hit 2 home runs. So I love throwing him in. He's 2K minimum priced on DK. He's only second base eligible in FanDuel at 2.5, so he's not as great of a value there. But if you have an open outfield spot, just throw him in there. 2K. He's getting at least like 9 points a game with like the one hit and like the things he does. So I am very excited about continuing to use him until like his price went up a little bit over the weekend. I think he got up to like 2.7. Now he's back down to 2 again. So Mets on the other side, the same thing. Like I would take power righties like Marte or Alonso. Look at what the lineup is too. The Mets played Sunday Night Baseball last night. I think Dominic Smith played last night because I think I played him and he did well in Showdown. But he's a lefty. Like if there's more lefties in this lineup than righties, and that's going to help Fried also, especially like Smith, who's has a high K rate, just to keep that in context. So basically here, take bats as one-offs. If you want to stack them in GPPs as leverages, I get it. Both pitchers are definitely viable. Next up, we have the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros. Marco Gonzalez is scheduled to pitch against them. He's been doing decent, but he took a line drive off his arm last game out, so he's kind of questionable. I don't know if he's going to pitch or not, so keep an eye on that. But this Houston team hasn't been the greatest. Altuve is coming back this week at some point, but I don't think he'll be back yet today. But I think Gonzalez could do decent against them, but I would prefer to take Lopez, Bassett, or Fried in the price range. Odorizzi on the other side, no thank you. He's on my fade list here. He has been giving up hard contact. He's a reverse splits guy, so righties has been hitting him just as hard as lefties. And I think DK knew this, but almost like, did you look at the pricing on Seattle? It looks like they're in Coors Field against, a really trash gas can pitcher. Just Ty France at 6K and Winker at 5.2 and Suarez 5.4, Crawford 5.6. So their pricing is super high. On FanDuel, it's not that bad. Like Winker's only like 2.6. So definitely like the stack on FanDuel. And I think I'll play a GPP stack of them. If I can, I'll probably have to take like Gallon and Paddock or something like that, pay down for pitching to make it happen. But I'm definitely interested in them against Odorizzi. It's just finding a way to pay for it. Houston, like I said, I think they're a really good cash stack too here against Gonzalez if he is banged up, or if it's another pitcher. Even like some of the lefties like Alvarez and Tucker have good power against left-handers. So I think they make a good stack, and they're still relatively cheap. You only got 2 guys around 5K, and the rest of them are 4K. And McCormick leading off at 3K is definitely a decent value. And like Goodwin and Diaz, sometimes like whoever's at second base there is a decent value also. Final game of the night is Tampa Bay and the Oakland Athletics. Drew Rasmussen and Dalton Jeffries. Jeffries, I think you can make a case for a cheap pitcher. There are some cases in this Tampa Bay lineup, but the wind is blowing out again, 10 miles per hour, 62 degrees. So I think, you don't really have to get the Jeffries. He's there if you want to play the Seattle Tech and a GPP and pay up for your SP1. I think that's the only context I really use him in. But other than that, I think I like the Tampa Bay bat. It says my 4th best stack. Rasmussen, A's have been striking out freely, even though they've had some injuries and starting to get some people back in this lineup. I still think that they're one of the best lineups to target for a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. So Rasmussen, I think he's finally actually started to get some strikeouts. I think he had a 50-point outing last time. Maybe it was on FanDuel I looked, but his last outing was far beyond his first couple. So I think he's heading in the right direction. I think this is a great matchup for him. So if he'd be my second favorite pitcher in the mid-range, I take Gallon first against the Marlins, but Rasmussen would definitely be my second choice there. Or maybe pair Gallon and Rasmussen if I'm trying to in a GPP if I'm trying to get some higher bats in there. So A's bats, like I said, they're cheap if you need to throw them in a stack, but I just don't really think in this matchup I really want to play them. Okay, so let's look at some lineup breakdowns, and we'll get you on your way for your Monday. So, like I said, Lopez and Gallen is where I'm starting with my pitching. I think they're the most solid. For the SP2, if you want to put like Rasmussen or Paddock in there, I'm fine there. If you want to pay down for Bassett or Fried also over Lopez, I think there's a lot of options that you can go with tonight. It's good. I'm punting catcher again. Probably going to play Maldonado for Houston just because I like this matchup there with a split, but there's some other really cheap guys. I can't believe how much DRNO is though. I just had him on the cover like 2 weeks ago. He was like 2.7. He was a great bargain at catcher, and now he's like 5.4 or something. It's just incredibly expensive. If you want to pay up to like Kirk has the split matchup, I really don't think you want to pay up for catcher. I think you just want to punt that and move on there. So I'm taking the Yankees in my favorite stack here. Rizzo, Donaldson, Judge, and Stanton. You can't really fit a full one in if you're trying to play Lopez. You'd have to pay down to get D. LeMahieu in here, who's like really expensive at 5.1. If you want to put Gallo in there, I understand, but I've just Dedemir. I'm just throwing him out there in the outfield 2K, and it able to get me a decent one-off play at second base and shortstop. Like I said, Minnesota, I kind of like in there. Maybe like Baltimore, like just I think you really want to go one-offs there. Focus on the Yankee stack, get the two pitchers you like, punt catcher, and then at second and base and shortstop, just find out guys that you like in good matchup with one-offs, or if you find a correlation with a team that works too. For GPP, like I said, I'm going to start with Paddock here. If I play Paddock, he can get me up to like Bassett or Freeze or Rasmussen as my SP2. And I think, Paddock's safe. I'm going to punt or go Maldonado to complete my Houston stack here. If I don't play Maldonado, then I might at second base go either Goodman or Diaz, whoever plays there. Grossman, I think it is. So then Bregman, Alvarez, McCormick is who I like there. And with this, it gives you like 56K, I think, left for these spots. So like Minnesota stack fits in there. You can get some of the Seattle guys in there. So it definitely, I like this like kind of skeleton breakdown there, because if you play this model and you play like a mid-range, medium range pitcher there, the plays that you can get at second base, shortstop, and outfield are outstanding. So that's what I got for you today. Appreciate you watching. Please give us a like, subscribe to our channel so you know when our videos come out, share with your friends. So our community continues to grow, and we just thank you for spreading the word of like we're out here to help you try to make money at DFS baseball and all kinds of other DF sports. So check out our channel. There's so many other things. And if you want more information on FSI DFS, look at the bio below, and all the links are there. So appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Reach out to me on Twitter at Megalore31, and we'll see you next time.